Hello everybody. As we've worked our way through the museum's art collection and talking pictures, we've come across a few views of North Dunedin showing the area we know today as Logan Park. We saw this one, which is believed to be a retrospective by Peter Power that was shown during the Jubilee celebrations in 1898, back in episode 52 for example. In episode 41, we heard that the vicinity was originally known as Pelichet Bay, after surveyor Charles Pelichet, who lived there in the late 1840s. The house formerly occupied by Pelichet was soon joined by others, such as that of John Reed, which we can see here in this close-up from a panoramic view of the upper harbour painted by Sarah Street in 1859. From 1870, construction of embankments for land reclamation and transport networks at Pelichet Bay resulted in the hemming in of the tidal flats and the creation of what would become known as Lake Logan, named after John Logan, who'd become a significant landowner in the area. While this artist has captured a view over the lake from the Dunedin side, Christopher Aubrey chose the hills opposite for his elevated vantage point. Others give us an idea of what it was like down at the water's edge. The artist in this instance is Robert Smith, one of the founders of colour merchants Smith & Smith. Robert had arrived in Dunedin as a boy with his parents and siblings in 1861 and established Smith & Smith in the 1870s. 30 years later, he, his wife and some of their children headed off on an extended working holiday in England. But in 1907, after 2 years in Britain and on the continent, Robert was admitted to hospital in London suffering from gallstones. He died shortly after an operation to remove them. Robert's son Leslie would pursue a career as an artist and was studying art in Paris at the outbreak of World War I. He signed up to fight, was wounded in battle, but survived the war to settle in France and died there in 1927. This one is by John King, who in 1888, the year this view was painted, was described as one of the younger members of the Otago Art Society, but making good progress at mastering his technique. The following year, John King is listed as an artist in post office directories instead of as a clerk, and exhibited 5 watercolours at the New Zealand and South Seas exhibition that was held in Dunedin in 1889 and 1890. Sealing off the bay and turning it into a tidal lake led to an increase in silt, sediment and weed, and a corresponding decrease in the depth of the water. Use of the area for recreational pursuits such as swimming, boating and fishing declined, as the lake became little more than a stagnant cesspool. Hopes of the Pelichet Bay Improvement Society, which formed in 1893 with aims to rejuvenate the lake, came to naught. A feature of several of our paintings of Pelichet Bay is the Milburn Lime and Cement Works. The works were established at, or rather out in, Pelichet Bay in 1890 and continue to be located here until moved to Burnside in the 1920s. This painting, signed by someone with the surname Hamilton, is possibly by Augustus Hamilton, who exhibited with the Otago Art Society in the 1890s and early 1900s, before moving to Wellington to take over from James Hector as the director of the Dominion Museum. The painting seems to match a description of one Augustus Hamilton exhibited here in 1899. The cement works was also the subject of this painting by Annie Taylor Black, who also exhibited with the Otago Art Society in the 1890s and then made a career as an artist in England. And here it is again, in the 1920s this time. This view is by Christchurch-born artist Alfred Herbert Owen Cook. Cook was born in 1907, so would have been about 17 and a student at the Canterbury School of Art when he painted this scene in 1924. His is perhaps one of the last views of Lake Logan before it was filled in to make room for the New Zealand and South Seas International Exhibition, to be staged from November 1925 to May 1926, and once the exhibition ended, to become a public sports ground named Logan Park. See you next time, and thanks for watching.